would like to welcome all of our esteemed guests. You've been invited here under different guises so that your host could get you all in one place. Your true reason for being here will be revealed. In the meantime, please mingle with your peers.
I am sure that you people are not my peers. I am the Queen of England, and apart from His Royal Highness, you all appear to be nothing more than peasants.
I know in my heart that God has created me equal to all of His good creatures, and even equal to you, a queen. For years, my husband made me feel that I was not worthy, but all that I've lost has shown me that we must not underestimate ourselves. I am as good and as evil as any of God's other creations.
Your God is not the true God, you Protestant. Only the true Catholic God may grant such assurances of faith, and you, peasant, do not worship Him. During my reign, I made it my mission to rid England of those who would pervert Christianity. I would include you on that list. Some of my people thought me an evil tyrant, but I knew that that was far from the truth. I protected my people from corruptions of my noble faith by stamping it out like a weed. I hold in my heart, and more importantly my head, the knowledge that I am carrying out God's wishes.
But perhaps you were an evil tyrant. How could you be sure that you were not? I do not think you can. God does not give missions to individuals who seek to harm other people.
We may have different views on religion, philosophy, and politics, but we are all equal in that we are all sentient beings who can express our thoughts and emotions. I have overcome many struggles, and I have destroyed the things that I held most dear. That kind of suffering teaches a person that the only evil in the world is that which we inflict on others, and it does not come from a benevolent God.
What in God's name is that? It is a hideous monster walking among us.
I've encountered many hideous monsters, but I would not count you among them. I find you most intelligent and articulate and capable of true human emotion.
I do not believe you. My own Creator thought me too hideous to love. He abandoned me immediately after I was brought to life and left me to fend for myself. This pain of rejection drove me to commit terrible crimes, transforming me into a true monster.
You are not the only one. My Creator, Roy Lichtenstein, made me permanently distraught, and that is the only way that people see me.
I have a horribly disfigured appearance. A pretty girl like you cannot understand what I feel.
That is not true. Every emotion I have ever had is colored by my tears, and I am never able to truly express myself because of it. I want to be more than just a pretty girl, but people don't see me that way because I appear to be superficially hung up on a God.
No man's character should be determined solely by another man, for it is every man's right to express himself as he wishes. I believe that each man has individual and unalienable rights that should not be trespassed upon.
Did you always believe this? Because there are stories of a much more judgmental and murderous Marat, quite separate from the tragic Marat that some people choose to remember.
I, too, recall a far different Marat than you appear to be. The man called me a tyrant, as he himself was transformed into one. I may have had my faults as a ruler, but I did not choose this life. It was forced upon me. Marat sought power through a quill pen and abused the people he claimed to save from tyranny. You, sir, are merely a figment of a propagandist's mind.
Are you speaking of my noble creator, Jacqueline David?
I am indeed.
David sought only to portray the truth of my tragic death in the hands of that murderous wench. She interfered with the purity of our mission to free the people of France from the evil monarchical institution.
Dinner is ready to be served, and it will not be long until your gracious host is revealed. I trust that you are enjoying the pleasant conversation.
On the contrary, I was not aware that I would be dining with a fanatic and an idealized version of one of the men that called for my family's execution.
I, too, was responsible for the death of a good and innocent family. It is possible that you did not mean to cause such immeasurable grief.
Of course he meant it. Did I forget to mention his hand in the immense bloodshed that came from the Reign of Terror?
I intended only to purify a society that you and your ancestors had driven to the brink of destruction.
Throughout the course of my marriage, I realized that it's important for women to be able to assert their own ideas and emotions, as women are equal to men. I don't suppose that you valued women at all.
As I was murdered by a woman, I do not place any value in the supposed fairer sex. I know what treachery they are capable of.
It is time for your host to join you to explain the purpose of this dinner party. You may initially be surprised by your host's true identity, but it is important that you will listen closely to why you are here. The guest list for this dinner party is not selected at random. There is a bond that you all share, but you do not yet know it. Now, here is your host.
My darling child! Oh my God!
And am I seeing your spirit once again? I have dreamed for years that we would meet again in heaven, but surely it cannot be this moment.
Hello, Mama. It is I, your Ruth May. I want to invite you all you good people to this dinner party to show you that we are all alike. You have all had the chance to talk, and I know that right now you see mostly your differences, but those are not important differences. You might not agree about the silly things like politics or religion, but those things are made up anyway. They are make-believe institutions that try to explain what we feel inside, and they do a very bad job of it. Instead of helping us to express our values, they often end up dictating our lives. Christianity is supposed to be the embodiment of Jesus' love, but it has been responsible for so many deaths. This is the reason I have brought you all here. All of us have been deeply influenced by our creators. I want you to think of that not only as your physical creators, but also as your God and others that have shaped your lives. Before she threw a tantrum and left the table, Queen Mary of England talked about how people viewed her as a villain. In her own mind, she wasn't a villain. She was carrying out God's work. King Louis XVI, I do not believe that he was a good ruler, but that was not because he was a bad person. You were put in charge of a bad economy and a country that was in ruin. The revolutionary sentiments of the people were spurred on by your poor choices, but those choices were informed by your education and your breeding. Those who write history are able to shape perceptions of rulers and events as they choose. Similarly, artists hold great influence over the portrayal of their subjects. Roy Lichtenstein had a lasting impact on his subjects by giving them a specific emotion and assigning them speech. In his painting Death of Marat, Jacques-Louis David showed a romanticized version of Marat that was far from the ugly truth of the man. The fictional Marat appears to be handsome and an eloquent writer. Murdered in cold blood by a treacherous woman named Charlotte Corday, who opposed his noble cause. In reality, Charlotte Corday's family was one of the many that Marat sent to the guillotine for the most ridiculous reasons. My mom and I were oppressed by our father, Reverend Nathan Price, because of his own mission from God. He took us from our home so that he could teach the natives how to be good Christians, but really he put our family in grave danger. His decision to wait to baptize me so that he could use me as an example and personal sacrifice was wrong because he exerted too much control over me. He was also abusive towards the entirety of our family in his need to be in control. It was my death that allowed the rest of my family to escape him, but I rebelled against him long before choosing to play with the native children and trying to learn their cultures in a way that he never did. I believe that we all have the ability to choose how we present ourselves to the world, if only we rise up and disprove the false perceptions of ourselves. None of us have to become what our so-called creators want us to become because we have the power of free will.